According to an article titled, What is Virology?, published by Act for Libraries, virology is a study of viruses. Those troublesome microorganisms that can cause us harm as the causative agents of diseases such as influenza and human immunodeficiency virus. By studying these stubborn agents, we have been able to make vaccines, place health guidelines to prevent illnesses, and help keep them at bay. Taking the time to attain some knowledge about virology shows how we can save our lives and those around us. A prime example of benefiting from this knowledge is amid our current COVID-19 pandemic. Because people have been educating themselves about the virus, it has helped minimize the spread of the virus. Due to being a biology major in hopes of studying viruses to save lives, I have obtained a vast knowledge regarding viruses. Firstly, I will discuss the need for sustaining current knowledge on virology. Secondly, I will talk about the satisfaction of having this knowledge. Thirdly, I will talk about what that would look like in action. And lastly, what call to action I ask all of you. To begin, I must address why virology should be an important subject to all of us. For us to know the responsibilities we should take on our own apart from the government, we all need to have a common knowledge to guide us, which is why it is imperative for you to change the scope of your knowledge to include virology. For most of human history, diseases were widespread and misunderstood. A pivotal point in disease prevention was the introduction of hand washing. In an article titled The Shockingly Recent History of People Actually Washing Their Hands, published by Emily Son on April 2, 2020, she states how regardless of their social status or how healthy they were to begin with, mothers who had recently had babies often developed a rapid heart rate, fever, shivering, and extraordinary abdominal pain that was often followed by death. Can you imagine in the 1940s dying from puerperal fever as a mother? Because of this practical solution, puerperal fever is now a disease we do not worry about, thanks to all doctors being taught the importance of hand washing. Hand washing has become part of our sacred daily rituals and implemented in every aspect of our world. But what else could we pass to others? The proven most efficient solution to fighting viruses or pandemics is by knowledge. Many of us learn through our parents or school about always washing our hands and sneezing in our elbows to stop the spread of germs. If we could make this knowledge widespread, then we all have a greater chance together to keep pandemics from occurring and keep each other safe. According to the website ACE, they stated in the article the importance of hand washing in developing countries, published on October 14, 2017, that the CDC conducted research 1 week prior and after promoting hand washing. They found that there were 50% fewer diarrheal and respiratory infections in children compared to households that did not receive any intervention. One experience that comes to mind is in the beginning of this pandemic. At my work, I had a conversation with a customer about COVID-19. He seemed to have no knowledge regarding viruses. I explained to him how viruses replicate, one piece of information that could have saved his life. According to an article titled How Viruses Mutate, written by CBC News, viruses that replicate through DNA use the same mechanisms a host cell uses to create its own DNA, a process that includes a kind of proofreading of the genetic material being copied. There's always somebody who never learned about the subject. That is why for all of us to be educated, we must take the time to read or watch videos regarding this essential topic. When we work together, a library of information can be passed from you to someone else. We already have a principal foundation thanks to workplaces and doctor offices, but reinforcement never hurts. Knowledge is a precious key as humans we value, but how we use what we know can save lives. Remember, if you take the time to be informed about basic understandings of viruses, whether it's from other people or reading, it may save a life. If we do not keep up viruses, then they might get the better of us and lead us into another pandemic or even worse, a plague. By sparking even the slightest interest in virology, it can lead to a wealth of information on different ways to keep yourself healthy or even create an interest that could lead into a career. Just imagine, if we all took a minute to read an extra on viruses, then in turn we could help millions of people. Lastly, now you have heard my voice of reason. I hope I imparted a gift of just not only knowledge, but a desire to do more. To conclude, I hope you guys see how by taking daily actions such as washing our hands and sneezing in our arms, we are applying knowledge about viruses into our daily lives. We have the chance to become a lifesaver to those around us. I came to remind you guys how our lives have all benefited because someone else took the time to care about others and leave important safety measures that we value in our everyday lives. I hope you guys feel an ounce of interest to take this interest to learn a little more, but more importantly, have an open mind that sees the benefit in not only knowing this knowledge, but spreading it as well. Remember, knowledge is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested.